Let's get into some climate change news. Tropical storm Isaias is heading toward the U.S., forcing Florida to close state-run testing sites. Florida will close state-supported COVID-19 testing sites on Thursday in anticipation of Tropical Storm Isaias, which could impact the state this weekend. Drive-through and walk-up testing sites will close beginning at 5 p.m. The Florida Division of Emergency Management said it in a statement Wednesday to keep individuals operating and attending the sites safe. The testing sites will remain closed until it's safe to reopen, though the FDEM anticipates all sites being opened by 8 a.m. August 5th. At the latest. August 5th? That's like a week from now. What the hell? Okay. Miami-Dade County Mayor Carlos Jimenez told CNN Thursday he would be concerned about keeping evacuees socially distanced if a major hurricane hit the state amid the ongoing pandemic. Okay. Isaias, the ninth named storm of 2020, formed Wednesday over the Caribbean Sea. The storm is delivering 50-mile-per-hour sustained winds extending outward up to 354 miles and currently sits about 155 miles south of Ponce, Puerto Rico. The NHC said Isaias is forecast to make landfall over southern Dominican Republic before noon Thursday and then reach near Florida over the weekend. And here is the track right now. There is uncertainty where and how strong the storm will be when it nears Florida. Forecast models are split. Some models show a weak storm hitting the west coast of Florida, while others show a much stronger storm lashing the east side of the state and moving toward the Carolinas. How the storm interacts over the Hispaniola could impact the intensity of the storm. The eventual track will determine Isaiah's strengths and potential future development. Okay. Hold on. There was something else I wanted to cover about this. Again, more articles. Chigozi from viewer of the channel, Chigozi, friend of the channel. Climatologist Michael Mann on 2020 Atlantic hurricane season. Hate to say, we told you so. Citing his preseason forecast predicting as many as 20 named storms, the expert now warns that if anything, that might be too low. It's hard for me to understand Michael Mann because, you know, he's a climatologist and he's, you know, says, well, we should be concerned about climate change, but we shouldn't, but these alarmists need to be quiet. We can't make people alarmed over climate change, but we need to tell people that climate change is really bad. I don't understand what the message is from Michael Mann. What is your position? Is climate change really bad and should we be concerned about it, or should people be quiet and not be alarmed about it? Which one is it, Michael Mann? Please clarify what you're talking about. Hate to say we told you so. That comment came in a Monday tweet from climatologist Michael Mann, responding to a pair of meteorologists who noted the warm waters along the east coast of the United States, which means trouble for any tropical cyclones coming up the coast and for the next several weeks of the Atlantic hurricane season. Mann, an atmospheric science professor at Penn State who directs the university's Earth System Science Center, and other experts have warned that human-driven global heating that's warming the world's oceans is already causing and will continue to cause more intense and devastating tropical storms and hurricanes. In April, Mann, ESSC scientist Daniel J. Brulette, or Brouillet, however you want to pronounce it, and alumnus Michael Kozar released their preseason forecast for the 2020 North Atlantic hurricane season. These are way more important than your preseason NBA or MLB or NFL forecasts, by the way. Those don't mean anything to anybody now. At this time in the Earth's history, right now is a good time to not care about Major League Baseball or basketball or football or any professional sports. I don't know why I had that in there. I just felt like it. They predicted a range of 15 to 24 named storms with a best estimate of 20 for this year's season. I guess you can also add in, just as another aside, you could add all award shows, Emmys, Grammys, Tonys. Now is a really good time to stop caring about those things because they just don't matter to anybody on the planet or to the planet itself. The planet does not care about those things. Or about us, actually. On Monday, Man pointed out that this was the first season in a decade for which they forecast up to 20 storms. Then warned, if anything, that might be too low. All right, Michael Mann coming out, gloves off, telling people that we might be in trouble. Alrighty then. The fresh concerns from Mann and meteorologists Dan Satterfield and Eric Fisher came after the Category 1 Hurricane Hanna, the first hurricane and eighth named storm of the season, made landfall twice Saturday evening in southeast Texas, a region already battered by the coronavirus pandemic, as the New York Times noted. According to a weekend report from the Times, the cities and counties in the path of Hanna are some of the same communities that have seen a sudden spike in COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations as Texas has become one of the largest hotspots in the country. In a state that is no stranger to bad weather, the typical hurricane prep ritual was altered by social distancing and face coverings, with fever checks required to enter officials' news briefings and sandbag distribution provided by workers who covered their faces in masks and bandanas. The Texas Tribune reported Monday that thousands in the state remained without power as a result of Hanna. The National Hurricane Center downgraded Hanna to a tropical storm early Sunday, but also warned that heavy rainfall, strong winds, storm surge, dangerous surf, and isolated tornadoes remain a threat from the system. Anyways, late Tuesday morning, the NHC issued a potential tropical cyclone advisory for what soon became the season's ninth named storm. Meteorologist Philip Klotzbach, let me read that correctly, pointed out that the storm would be named Isaias and could set the record for the earliest ninth tropical storm in the season, already set. Considered the record set. Meteorologist and science writer Eric Holthaus also responded to the news in a series of tweets, heads up Puerto Rico and Virgin Islands, he wrote in the ninth storm before noting that thousands of families in Puerto Rico, a U.S. territory, are still dealing with inadequate living conditions nearly 3 years after Hurricane Maria. Thousands of families are still without adequate housing in Puerto Rico. 3 years after Hurricane Maria, tens of thousands of homes in Puerto Rico remain uninhabitable by modern standards, with damage ranging from total destruction to missing roofs. The NHC warned Tuesday that Isaias could hit Puerto Rico and various eastern Caribbean islands as early as Wednesday, bringing dangerous heavy rains, flash flooding, and mudslides, although uncertainty remains over the storm's path. Forecasters say it could reach the Bahamas on Saturday and Florida by Sunday. There you go. We've got 116 watching, 59 likes. Please like up the video so we can let people know that we're here. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Salt Lakers, the earth has a fever and the only thing that can cure it is more cowbell. I have a fever. Yes. Yes. How many kids does it take? Jay Ackert, good comment. How many kids does it take for a climate scientist to say 2100 or sustainable future? Indeed. I was just wondering that. Andy the gardener, right. Did man criticize the Planet of the Humans? I don't know if he did. Honestly, I can't for sure say that. It seems like it would be something that he would do, but I cannot put words into his mouth, so I will not do that. Last monkey, I got to retract my negative comment on Joe Rogan, by the way. He's pretty good, actually. Yes, he is. He's very good. You know, I mean, you don't have to agree with every single thing that somebody says or does, but I mean, Joe Rogan allows conversations to happen. Um, Lots of different conversations to happen, nuanced conversations to happen. This is my quick take on Joe Rogan. So, what happens on social media is that, you know, you have people canceling people and quick burns and quick takes and very limited, you know, kind of limited space for ideas and thoughts and nuance, right? But you know, the way people talk when they're having a conversation amongst themselves, right? Like people have way more nuanced, in-depth, and wide-ranging conversations when they have conversations with their friends in person. And so a Joe Rogan show is like having a conversation with a person in person. However, it's, you know, being beamed out onto YouTube or whatever. But because they're long and in depth, you can get like long, you know, a much wider range of ideas and nuance around topics because they're having these conversations. And that's what Joe Rogan is. And I appreciate that he has that platform and he gives that platform to certain people. I mean, I saw that he interviewed Ben Shapiro the other day, and I'm like, I probably would never give Ben Shapiro, you know, any platform to speak on, but that's what Joe Rogan does. I mean, he allows different viewpoints to take place, and I support him for that. I support him doing that. So there you go. By the way, Joe Rogan is a progressive. He believes in climate change. He believes in science. He believes that coronavirus is a real thing, and that is bad, and that you should take precautions. He believes all that stuff. I see people out on social media talking about, you know, they think Joe Rogan is some like wild-eyed alt-right lunatic. Not on any level, because they don't watch him, because they're making opinions or have opinions about something that they don't know anything about, which is the specialty of social media, by the way. Anyways, let's move on. Where are we at? Oh, so the thing that kind of got me all frumpy this morning on Twitter was that, you know, I think people know Schrodinger's cat. You know this guy that runs around and spreads climate misinformation. I think he has a YouTube channel. Anyways, he was linking graphs that he got on this site called temperature.global. I'm going to show you the site real quick. Listen, it looks really very well done, but this is a misinformation site. So if you ever see temperature.global, just know that this is a climate denial site. And they just say stuff that, you know, they say things on the site. Here they put up a NOAA thing and a National Weather Service thing, you know, to make it seem like they're really official. They put this graph here, making it seem like they're really official, but this is a climate denier site. Look at, they have this list of recorded global temperatures for previous years. This is all wrong. 2015 below normal, 2016 below normal, 2017 below normal, right? They list all the last years as below normal. Totally, factually, completely wrong, but because they say that they're like, temperature.global calculates the current global temperature of the Earth. So they're just saying just random stuff that isn't based in reality. And they're saying that, you know, this site was created by professional meteorologists and climatologists with over 25 years of experience in surface weather observations. No, it was not. This site was developed or created by probably a fossil fuel company or think tank or some science deniers that wanted to make it seem like they're, you know, so again, they're looking, it makes it look very official and very scientific, But all this is misinformation that science deniers are gonna throw out there. Poppy Davis, I don't know where they get this crap, but they just yeah, this is just made up. This is all made up. But because they say the words meteorologists and climate scientists, somebody else on Twitter was like, no. Oh, somebody was saying, no climate, no scientists say that the ocean is getting acidic. That this was his actual words. No scientists agree that the ocean is getting acidic. I'm like, what planet do you live on? Because every single scientist agrees that the ocean is getting more acidic. So I don't know where you're getting your information on. Anyways, yes, how can that not be criminal? I don't know, Lightning Rod. Why? So, maybe these sites should be blacklisted on Google. I'm not really for censorship. What I'm trying to do is alert you to the fact that these climate denialists are trying to make these websites that seem very, very scientific and professional, but they're just lying to people. And just, the only thing we can do is give them real information. Say, no, you are wrong. Please be quiet. Please stop. Rich Diana, the lies are increasing. Donald McCarthy, Mother Nature ignores the lies. Exactly. Catmandu, I don't do social media. That you're probably good not to do that. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, you can just go to NASA. And the global temperature last year was 0.99 C. That's the official, right, is, we're at 1 C. That's the anomaly. So we're not below average, sorry. Oh, whoops. Anyways, I pressed the wrong button. Well, all the people that are retweeting all this stuff and all the people that are having these conversations all have, libertarian in their Twitter bio. Libertarian, MAGA, of course, right? Libertarian, conservative. I don't do science because it's from the government. Is climate change real? Snork Y2K, Joe Rogan is horrible open-minded. Horrible open-minded? I don't know how we're ever going to get him to shill for Biden. Yeah, he actually really does not like Biden at all. Actually, the Biden team requested an interview on Joe Rogan, and he declined. So he did not give Joe Biden a platform, which is fine with me. Let's move on. Where are we? You know that Siberian heat wave has led to Arctic heat wave since May, and we might have a blue ocean event this year, and then you'll see some wild weather. We should have started the Windy Day concept in 2010 at the latest. Now, let's just show our children that we aren't idiots. So apparently in Siberia or in Russia, they're having what? They're having a crop situation. State of emergency in another area of western Siberia with this summer's drought, which has already claimed most of the crops in Altai region, killing grain in the Omsk region. The situation is very tense with precipitation being uneven, said local agriculture minister. Uh-oh. Let's look at this for a second. Oh, that's it. Now we're looking at a tractor. Hope you guys like that picture of a tractor. Let's keep going. Grim report shows how many environmental activists were killed last year. 4 people died defending planet Earth every week. A new Global Witness study finds that most of the people who are killed are in the global south. The year 2019 was the most dangerous on record for environmental activists. A new report says every day around the world, people stand up to companies exploiting land for profit, felling trees, damming and polluting waterways, displacing ancestral homes, destroying wildlife habitats. Every week, an average of 4 of these defenders are killed. The Global Witness Defending Tomorrow report, released Tuesday, counted 212 people killed last year for their efforts to protect the earth from the destructive effects of development for oil and gas, mineral extraction, agriculture, logging, and other practices. Our figures are almost certainly an underestimate. The authors write, and they don't include people who were attacked, intimidated, unjustly imprisoned, or otherwise silenced for protesting industrial encroachment on nature and ancestral lands. Our data on killings will never accurately capture the true scale of the problem. The violence is especially high against indigenous people, who accounted for 40% of land defenders killed in 2019, Global Witness found, though they make up only about 5% of the world's population. The impacts on indigenous populations around the world are starkly disproportionate, said Chris Madden, leading author of the Global Witness report. On the flip side, there is a growing recognition that to be able to deal with the climate crisis, we must listen to indigenous people, and we must protect their way of life, to protect vital climate-critical forests and ecosystems that are essential to fend off the climate crisis. Indigenous people are exceptionally effective stewards of nature. Deforestation is twice as high in non-native managed territories. Indigenous lands comprise less than 20% of the earth and 80% of its biodiversity. I'm going to read that again. Indigenous lands comprise less than 20% of the earth and 80% of its biodiversity, according to the United Nations Permanent Forum on Indigenous Issues. But indigenous communities legally own a mere tenth of the lands they claim. Even when where their lands are recognized, roads, dams, pipelines, and industrial operations are often carried out without their informed consent. Can you say Dakota Access Pipeline, leading to a displacement, relocation, forced removal, or worse? Violence against activists is greatest in Central and South America and getting worse. In Honduras, 14 environmental defenders were killed last year, more than triple the year before, making it the most dangerous country per capita. Can I get rid of this? Yes, go away. Colombia topped the Global Witness list with 64 deaths recorded in 2019, 2.5 times the number a year earlier. Half were indigenous people. Indigenous human rights defenders in Colombia increasingly have been targeted by violence and harassment since a 2016 peace agreement between the government and FARC rebels left formerly FARC-controlled regions open to competition between armed criminal and paramilitary groups. The peace agreement in Colombia was also supposed to help tens of thousands of farmers transition from illegal coca cultivation to growing cacao and coffee. But the program has been ineffective, and participants are being targeted by criminal and militia groups with vested interest in the continuation of the drug trade. Here's the total number of land and environmental defenders killed in 2019 by country. Colombia topping the list. Philippines, Brazil, Mexico, Honduras, Guatemala, Venezuela, India, Nicaragua, Indonesia, DRC, Burkina Faso, Romania, Kazakhstan, Uganda, Peru, Cambodia, Bolivia, Ghana, Kenya, and Costa Rica. Women are increasingly at risk of murder, harassment, imprisonment, and sexual violence in Latin America. Killings of women human rights defenders in Colombia rose nearly 50% in 2019 over the year before. A UN Human Rights Council report found. In Mexico and Central America, attacks against female activists, especially those defending land, water, and natural resources, doubled between 2015 and 2018, according to I Am Defensoras. In December, and in part due to pressure from Global Witness to investigate, 7 people were sentenced for the 2016 murder of Honduran activist Berta Cáceres. Cáceres was shot dead in her home after helping to stop the building of a major hydroelectric dam that would have flooded land inhabited by indigenous Lenca people. Many of the people killed in South and Central America were fighting the mining of coal, copper, gold, and other materials, which degrades soil, pollutes water systems, fuels deforestation, and forces people out of their homes. As in years past, mining is responsible for the greatest number of defender deaths recorded in the Global Witness Report. Again, it is very dangerous to be a protector of the environment. Even here in the United States, even though you have less of a risk of being killed here, but as much of a risk of being sentenced to prison. Ed Ryan, thuggery is alive and well in 2020. Yes. Human love, solidarity. Anything going to change? Doubtful. Your Environment Seattle says, yuck, I'm not a Malthusian. We can easily support 10 billion people on Earth if we adopt eco-modernist. That might be a conversation for another time, but I don't think that we can support 10 billion people. I mean, well, I don't know what eco-modernist standards of living are. You mean people being poor? Because that's basically what it is. People who are poor, who live in other countries, who don't have the consumer lifestyles that we have, right? They don't emit the carbon emissions that the rich do. And even then, I don't see us being able to support 10 billion people. I mean, it would be maybe. We're not going to reach 10 billion people, though. I just don't think so. But I mean, when you're talking about standards of living or eco-modernist standards of living, you're talking about basically telling people that they can't do, or people understanding. Let's say you don't tell them what to do, but let's say people understand this and act on their own. That means that people just stop consuming at the levels that we consume. But I don't know. Yes, it is. It's literally poverty. Like what standard of living would you suggest is good for the earth? Like if people had electricity and homes and food, that would be great. That's what I'm hoping that people are going to be able to have. Everybody should be able to have those things. Medical care. But I mean, everything else really has to kind of go, consumerism on many levels. And that's what most people in the modernized world would call poor or poverty. Eco-modernists think urban Shenzhen. I don't know. I mean, that's something that could be. I'm actually out of time for my video today. That's probably a debate for another day. But I do actually talk about this quite a lot. And this is a good thing to debate. This is actually a very important thing to debate. How is it that people are going to have to go forward in order to create a sustainable planet? What's in the realm of reality? I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, one more thing I want to cover before I leave, guys. One more comment from Your Environment Seattle. Good for the earth is 900 kilowatts per person. That's medical care, about half the U.S. consumption of 2 kilowatts per person. I don't know. Again, that's another. I'm glad that you're here. and that you're putting forth your ideas. And I think we should, I think some robust debate around these ideas should be had. 10 billion people is a lot of people, and it also indicates, again, growth. But yes, Andy the Gardener, I agree with Andy the Gardener. Human population, we won't reach 9 billion. We're going to have too much environmental degradation as it is. There's going to be economic collapse, climate collapse. Unfortunately, and this is not something that I'm happy about, and this is not something that I'm wishing for or hoping for. Unfortunately, a lot of people are going to perish because of economic and climate collapse way before we even reach 9 billion people. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Yeah, maybe so. Your environment, Seattle. Send me an email at blackbearnews@gmail.com with your Skype, and maybe we can connect on that. We can talk about it, because I think it's a healthy thing to debate. Anyways, last thing I wanted to cover. This is from Nick Humphrey's page. Temperature soars to record-breaking 125 in ancient desert city. Record high temperatures will continue to be challenged across the Middle East this week as blistering heat and dry conditions remain over the region. The week got off to a blazing start in Baghdad, Iraq, with a temperature reading of 50.6 C. Good God, 123.1 Fahrenheit on Monday. But on Tuesday, the temperature climbed even higher. According to preliminary reports from the area, the temperature reached 51.7 C, 125 Fahrenheit in the afternoon, surpassing the all-time record high temperature of 51.2 C, which is 124 Fahrenheit for the city. Ouch, guys, ouch. Can you see that? That just looks like... that just looks like death. Scorching high temperatures are forecast to continue this week as an area of high pressure remains overhead, allowing dry conditions and plenty of sunshine to bake the area. Baghdad once again challenged its highest recorded record on Wednesday afternoon, but temperatures fell just short of the record, reaching 51 C. That's still unbelievable. 51 C is amazing. I don't even know how people are surviving this. Whew. Youch. Anyways. That is going to be happening more and more and more in the future. Hey guys, remember to like, share, and subscribe, and you can support the channel at the links below, PayPal, Patreon, Square. Also, if you'd like to watch the live streams, you can watch the live streams on my Patreon channel. You can subscribe for as little as $1. So hopefully I will see you over there, and thanks so much.